let me try, let me make an attempt at this point in time to go through a bit about 5 or 6 things that you need to look out for when you're raising a daughter in a narcissistic co-parenting dynamic. Now, when you're raising a girl in a narcissistic system, what you need to understand is that you cannot raise this girl in such a way that you would if she was being raised in a normal, sober situation. Anytime you think about what you're going to instill or the experiences that you're going to give to your daughter in a narcissistic co-parenting dynamic, you must be thinking deliberately on how you're going to be countering the effects of narcissism, which is what she will be exposed to by the other parent. Now, ideally, we wish this wouldn't be the case. You wish this wouldn't have been the case, but it's what it is. You found yourself in this situation. There are children involved, and we will go into later videos on how to raise a son. But in this video, I want to talk about how to raise a girl in this narcissistic dynamic. Now, the first point I want you to think about is neglect. Neglect. Because from a young age, you will realize that a girl is suffering a lot of neglect from her parent or from her narcissistic parent. You will have to do double the work when it comes to giving her attention, when it comes to watching out for her and how she learns to interpret issues and the world around her. Now, girls are naturally predisposed to grow into being more socially inclined. Therefore, they need more attention than a boy child. Therefore, you have to be very deliberate when you're looking into raising a girl, because they will not get the attention that they require. From the narcissistic parents, the attention they get will have strings attached. Therefore, you have to be very careful. You must be very deliberate, because you don't want your child growing up thinking that basic human decency has a price tag, especially when it is coming from her parent. You understand? So the first thing you need to look out for when you're raising a child is neglect. You will not be neglecting her. And do not expect that your partner will cooperate to bring her up into the woman she's supposed to be by socially developing her with attention. The second thing you need to look out for is validation. When you're raising a girl with a narcissistic co-parent, what you will realize is that they are very competitive, because narcissistic parents don't love their children. They compete with their children. It's something you will notice. They always have to pit themselves against that kid. What is that child getting? What am I getting? What is that child receiving? What am I receiving? And instead of being the sacrificial, giving parent that is supposed to be the case with a parent and a child, because that's what parenthood really is. Parenthood is about sacrifice. And it's not just about sacrificing some things, it's literally about sacrificing everything. But your daughter will not be experiencing this with your partner or with your significant other. It will not be the case. In a normal situation, you expect that there will be balance. There will be a balance in the relationship between you and your partner in the way you you provide for your daughter. But if you're the giving, sacrificial parent, you will realize that your partner starts to hate, to envy, and to invalidate your daughter because of the attention she is receiving. Therefore, watch out for that. Know that in every narcissistic co-parenting dynamic, you're going to need to validate your daughter because your partner will be competing with your daughter. The third thing is you need to teach her the fear of God. You need to bring your girl up in a spiritual manner. You see, the thing with spirituality is this. It gives your daughter a proper basis for reverence because she has been born to revere something, to look up to something, to respect something, and to unconditionally love something. Now, the thing is, she cannot be able to do these things in a healthy manner with your partner because your partner, as a narcissist, will not be teaching the fear of reverence. They will be teaching the fear of destruction. It will all be about walking on eggshells. It will be about make sure you never annoy me. It will be about make sure you never piss me off. Make sure you never do anything wrong. But when you teach your child or your daughter to grow up in the fear of God, first she knows what to expect. She knows how she should be treated. All right. In my African context, uh, it's very dangerous sometimes how we raise kids, because when we were growing up, I used to hear this statement: your parent is your second God, or no matter what, you should always uh, respect, cherish, love your parents. You should always agree with them, never disagree, never argue with your parent. Uh, and there were consequences tied to going against that. It doesn't matter how toxic they were, doesn't matter how dangerous they were, but this is actually risky because when we place parents on a pedestal, we forget that just slapping the title parent on someone does not make them an angel. And this unconditional love, this unconditional reverence that should be given by a child who is learning how to balance and to associate reverence and respect and these virtues should not be given to an imperfect person. It should be given to they should not be given to an imperfect person. They should be given to a perfect person. And this perfect person does not exist. Only God can fill those shoes. Therefore, the narcissistic parent will be raising your daughter to know that she should please her. She should please her or him at all costs, rather than giving that reverence to God. But if you teach them the fear of God, they will learn from a perfect entity how to relate these things, how to apply unconditional love, how to apply unconditional respect, and then know how she is to receive it also based on what her God has done for her. The most important thing you can do is to raise her in the fear of God. That's why in the thumbnail, I put there number 3 is gold. Because when God is in the picture, nothing can go wrong. Now, the narcissist would want to apply that to themselves. They would want to give the impression to the daughter that when I am here, nothing can go wrong, or if you please me, nothing will go wrong, or You're only created so that you can make me happy and regulate me and validate me. And it becomes like the child is raising the parents. But if you teach them to grow up in the fear of God, they know how they should be treated. They know how they should be treating someone based on having that kind of interaction with a perfect entity. Number four, tied to that previous point, when you're raising your daughter, be deliberate about raising her into not being a people pleaser. All right. I know by nature, girls are agreeable. They are more agreeable than the boy. That's just by nature. And it goes hand in hand with how she's been formed from birth to grow up into the social, interactive being. Because remember, she's the one who will give birth to a baby when she grows, and she'll need to be very gentle, very passionate, very emotional, and all these things. Therefore, she has these tendencies to people please. But the problem is, when you become a people pleaser, you forget that you're not in heaven. You're in the world, and in this world, there are very many toxic people who actually like people pleasing people. And if you are a people pleaser, they target you. They target you very quickly, and they cause you a lot of harm. Now, you don't want your daughter associating with that, because this is what she will be receiving as an example from your partner. She will be commanded, she will be made to have to people please uh, by having to pander to everything that your partner demands. But that's not why we raise kids. Kids are not our puppets. Children are not our project. They are not our property. Children are divinely created individuals who are independent, who are capable, who are gifted, and who are called into a future that not even the parent has any idea of. Children belong to God. They don't belong to parents. Therefore, you cannot raise a child in a manner that exposes her to become a people pleaser. Okay? Teach her to stand her ground. Teach her what she should expect. Teach her what she should not condone. Teach her what she should not allow. Teach her how to go about um, bullies and all these things, which is actually what she will be experiencing from your partner. So teach her not to be a people pleaser. The fifth thing is learn and teach her how to grow up through her mistakes. Remember, with a narcissistic partner, your daughter will be made to feel that if she were not perfect in every little thing, she would pay for it. And even if she were perfect, she would still pay for it, because perfection is not the issue. Toxicity is the issue at hand with a co-parent who is a narcissist. Therefore, you have to deliberately think to yourself that when I am raising my daughter, I should daily include thoughts about allowing her to be imperfect, letting her discover things through her mistakes. Teach her the right things to do, teach her what is right from wrong, but allow her, when she is imperfect in keeping the standard of right, to grow through it. Be a safe space for her to run to, be a shoulder for her to kind of get herself back together She will not be receiving this from your partner. She won't be receiving this from your partner. Therefore, you ought to deliberately know that in a narcissistic dynamic, you will be the one who will be providing a safe space for imperfection. Lastly, this video, teach your daughter about romance, about love. Because of how beautiful girls are, one of the most important things you could do is to teach her what a healthy romantic situation is like. Their beauty will expose them in the world. Because of how they look, they will attract many targets. Therefore, especially for a girl when she is young, you must teach her the ways of love. You must teach her how not to be taken advantage of. Buy your daughter flowers. Buy your daughter a dress. Open the door of the car for your daughter. Take her upstairs. Clean her room. Kiss her goodnight on the forehead. Read her a story. Be gentle. Be kind. Provide. Provide for her. Give her things. Give her money and then teach her how to use it. These things are all tied to what she will come to know as romance. This and more. I'll do a video specifically tailored to romance in the future. But today I was just skimming through a few things that you should be deliberate about when you're raising a daughter in a narcissistic dynamic. Beware of the neglect. Beware of the invalidation. Beware of the fear of God. Beware of people pleasing. Beware of correcting in love, allowing her to grow through her mistakes, and beware of the dangers of romance when it is not given in the right manner. So these are some of the things that you could do to raise your daughter to become the kind of woman that she's supposed to be, even in a narcissistic dynamic. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and until the next video, have a good one.